What's going on? Looks like we're live. So I'm playing around with a different camera setup. I actually went out and got a sweet deal on the Elgato Face Cam, and so basically it's a souped up webcam. I'm trying to see how it compares to my more expensive cameras in my array, and so that's why it looks slightly a little bit different. On today's episode, it's going to be part two of um, the imposter syndrome. I didn't necessarily want to make this one, but I kind of made myself a case study by being an idiot. So that's what I have on today's episode. But talk about how I made myself my own example. Get to you after the intro. Peace. So, like I said, I didn't necessarily want to make this episode. I wasn't too thrilled with the prospect of having to come back and um, do a follow up because I felt like it was really kind of an emotionally draining experience to be that open on a podcast, and it's getting posted. It should be live audio right now, and I'm actually rendering the video at the house. So hopefully that's done and ready to be uploaded when I get back to the house. But I did want to revisit this because I kind of made myself look like a jackass a couple days ago. So here's the story. I made this really inartful. Basically, it was me paraphrasing something I heard from Fat Joe 20 years ago. And you know how those quotes are when you heard them 20 years ago, randomly walking by the TV and MTV's on. And I butchered this quote from Fat Joe, and I actually ended up clipping it and using that as kind of a short. It went on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and it had some inaccurate information. And it was this whole thing about how Fat Joe was opening up restaurants and bars, and how the drug game educated him on how to be a manager of a restaurant. And I basically took something he said and took it out of context and said it the wrong way. And the kind, compassionate internet community rightfully flamed me. I got cooked. Like I got cooked on multiple platforms. And the reality was I was already going through something else in my mind, and I just wasn't, I literally could not deal with the feedback there and taking my lumps. So I ended up just doing the dirty delete and hiding videos because it was embarrassing. And here's the thing. The reason why it sent my imposter syndrome into overdrive, because it's hard enough for me to share stuff on here. And when I do something that stupid and lacking foresight in terms of making sure what I'm saying is accurate, it's something that I can't, it's hard for me to just brush off and take my lumps and walk off. And I made myself a case study of imposter syndrome because immediately when I started getting it, it went viral, like viral for me. And viral for me means it's doing more numbers than I've ever done. It's more people are seeing it than ever seen it. And so that's one of the things, if you're just starting out on social media, it's good to have viral for you videos where this is the biggest video I've ever done. And this is the biggest social media post I've ever done. And people are responding to it. People were responding with, "You, sir, are an idiot and you're wrong. And here's how you're wrong." And they were right. I wasn't factually correct, and instantly sent me into a spiral of what am I even doing? If I can't get this basic fact right, how do I even deserve to have an audience, and all kinds of other stuff, and wanting to quit and all this other stuff. And I realized that at some point it was my negative inner voice just talking to me and blaring in my ear. And I've talked about it at length on my last podcast / live stream regarding that negative inner voice and how I challenged myself to go against what my negative inner voice was saying. And so my negative inner voice was saying, you need to quit right now and just stop, because it's only a matter of time before then folks figure out about you and say you're a fraud. And my response to my negative inner voice is, nah. So I'm doing this live stream partially to take ownership and kind of say, listen, I put something out there that was inartful and inaccurate, and that's not what my mission is. I'm here to give you guys factual information and not stuff that isn't steeped in practice or reality. And me putting out misinformation is not what I'm here to do. And so that's why I'm on here. The other side is me facing down that negative inner voice that's telling me that I need to quit right now and go find something else to do, because I do have good information and I do have things that have actually worked. And I feel like I could demystify some of the marketing stuff, but I have to get past the inner voice. And like I said, I'm aware of it. My inner voice is like one of the most abusive people I've ever met. And so it's me learning how to deal with criticism from me, but also dealing with criticism from other people. Yesterday, I wasn't really in the place to do it. And so I did the dirty delete, and those things are gone. But moving forward, I'm really trying to step my game up and be a little bit better. And what I should have done was I should have gone back into the archives and found that quote from Fat Joe and actually quoted it the right way instead of putting it out there. As you know, and even though I phrased it and said I'm kind of butchering the quote here, the way I clipped the video, that context is removed, and that's my fault. It's not the listener's responsibility to decipher my BS. It's my responsibility to make sure I'm using clarity and I'm clearly stating what my point is. So that one's on me. But again, that was a big challenge. And like I said, doing numbers like you get the endorphins that hit you when you're posting stuff on social media and something finally clicks and people start responding to it. But then when you see you're an idiot and literally pointing out how you're wrong, that does do a number on your mental. And so I just had to take my lumps. And basically, I'm building up my calluses. I'm showing you my hands because I'm a weightlifter, and so you build up calluses. And so I'm trying to build up my mental calluses with criticism. And there's a whole reason why I'm hypersensitive to criticism that I will not go into today. But I gotta check myself and not be as not be as responsive or sensitive to that level of criticism, because it's part of the social media game. If I'm going to put a podcast out there, there's always going to be people that stridently disagree with what I say. And if I'm factually accurate, I do have something to rebuff them. But if I'm putting out information that is incorrect and I don't vet that information, that's on me. I'm a journalism student. I'm supposed to know better. And so if I don't vet my information before I put it out in public, that one's on me. The game is now, and this is where I'm going into it, the ownership thing. The game for me now is to not take that so seriously where it absolutely destroys my mental well-being over the next couple of days and makes me not want to create content or do anything. And that's the challenge, because typically that's what happens. The inner voice does get me to quit things that I struggle with, or if it doesn't go right the first time, I'm ready to throw in the towel. And that's a growing piece for me. And for business owners, I'm putting it out there to be transparent to y'all. That's kind of what it is. I'm putting that piece out there to be transparent to y'all about this, because that's the best I can do. Is if I'm struggling with it, I can kind of share what my struggles are, and then maybe you can find a little bit of common space so that you don't feel so bad when something doesn't go right, or when you try a post on social media and it doesn't go right, or when you're doing a product or service and somebody isn't happy with your product or service and you get that feedback, or any other number of innumerable things that can happen as a business owner where somebody is not pleased with what you do. And social media is amplified, because when you're a jackass on social media, the problem is a potential audience of billions can see it. Fortunately for me, it was only a few thousand people, but I have to kind of struggle and wrestle with the fact that the screw up always gets more attention than the apology. And so the few thousand people that actually saw what I posted, um, that's their snapshot of who I am. And if they come into contact with information from me in the future point, I have to bridge that gap of I said something inaccurate, and I have to assume that they probably never they didn't see what I did. So that's what it is. Um, Again, like I said, it's hard when you make yourself the case study, you know, and the social media thing allows people to post stuff left and right. And I don't have the part in my brain where I can say something that's counterfactual or um, short-sighted or insensitive, and people respond to it. I don't have that part of my brain where I can just literally just ignore everything that's being said and stuff like that. I know that there are social media influencers that just are content farms. They put it out, put it out, put it out, put it out. And so by the time they get one negative comment, they're already 4 videos deep on something else. I'm not that person yet. And I don't know if I will be that person, because I do want to make sure that I'm trying to give you the highest quality information that I have. And if I'm not being accurate, I probably should have edited that part in hindsight, but it is what it is. So that's what the live stream is today. And kind of talking about how I went through it and how I experienced it. You know, I posted it, I saw the numbers going up, I saw people responding to my video, and I got amped. I got excited, like, man, this is viral for me. This might be the hit that I'm looking for. And then I go in and the comments are like, this is how you're wrong, and this is exactly why you're wrong. And I'm not blaming anybody for how they responded to it, to be honest with you. I don't have any problem with it, because I was inaccurate and inartful and imprecise in my speech. And so rightfully got pointed out to me. Um, but it doesn't, taking the accountability doesn't make it sting any less. And so now I'm at my next at bat. And so now I got to create something. And I'm gonna continue to create and put stuff out there, but it just gives me the lesson. It builds in the lesson so that I know that I can come back and double check stuff I put out there, and actually go to the source of the quotes, so I can make sure I'm pulling the right quotes and getting the right context of the quote before I put it out there. The live stream is kind of a freestyle, and I got to get better at actually sourcing my stuff before I before I repurpose it and put it back out into the universe. Because sometimes, stuff in the live stream may not be accurate, and I have to make sure that I'm not leading with that of my on my regularly posted content and the stuff that's not live. So that's what it is. It's giving myself grace to be human and not perfect in my words or my delivery, which is something I struggle with. And I'm being really transparent with y'all. It's not easy for me to accept my mistakes, because it's always amplified and magnified, because I think about the different ways that I should have done better. So I apologize if it landed. I'm not even going to say if it landed on you wrong. Yeah, I apologize for putting it out there incorrectly in the first place. All right, moving forward. So this live stream, I really want to make this something that's usable for my business owners or aspiring business owners out there. So if you have marketing questions, like regarding social media posts, frequency, equipment, any of that stuff, go ahead and shoot them to me at my email, and I'll answer them in the live stream. So that's my website. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my email up here so that you can kind of see where to hit me up for that stuff. So if you have a question, if you're stuck in some aspect of your business, maybe you're not quite sure how to target your marketing to get the client that you want, if you're not exactly sure which content strategy to go with, if you want to do regular social media posts, if you want to do videos, if you want to try email marketing, all of those are valid. And actually, all of those work in tandem, but you have to be able to be comfortable with the process of creating the content and then the supporting content that goes along with it. And I can teach you how to do that. But if there's any sticking point in your business or your marketing, I'd love to sit down and talk to you. And just shoot me an email and we can schedule a time to figure that piece out. Again, I want to move mostly into the consulting side of things, the done for you side of things. Um, I'm really taking it step by step to make sure that I'm taking on projects that I fully understand the scope of and I fully believe in, um, and not just diving in because my part of the inner part of combating the inner voice is diving headlong into things to prove to myself that I can do things. And I've had good success with doing that, but it's also really mentally straining when, in my mind, this thing didn't come out perfect, but the client is very happy with what they received. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I would love to do the consulting and sit down and talk with your idea, especially for somebody who has a business idea that they haven't fully fleshed out yet. That's kind of where my strength is. But anybody that wants to sit down and talk about their business or marketing or their social media strategy or their media strategy, just your general media strategy, hit me up at that email and we can get together and talk. So that's where I'm at. I am trying to keep this short and sweet because I don't want to belabor the point and I am prone to repeating myself. So in conclusion, I apologize because that post wasn't vetted and I didn't double check to make sure I was being factually accurate on it. And I also apologize if you commented on it and I did the dirty delete because I got to be honest, my mental health was not in a great place yesterday. And so I had to go ahead and pull that off social media because I wasn't in the right headspace to accept that criticism and it be a positive thing for me. And so it was better to just kind of remove it. And so I'm going back and kind of scrubbing the content to make sure that the quotes and stuff are attributed the right way. Again, like I said, I made myself a case study. It's not fun, but it's necessary. And I have to be transparent enough to talk about my wins. And I hope my audience starts holding me accountable to talk about the things that go right as much as I talk about the things that I came up short with. So that's kind of where I'm at, y'all. I'm a lot better now than I was yesterday evening when that post went out. And so, it's a lesson, and the lessons and the lesson is in the doing. So I got a new episode coming out. It's kind of in line with this. I just posted it. Like I said, the audio version should be uploading. It should be done uploading and should be posted to a lot of these podcast services. The video version is still rendering at the house. And so that's what I'm going to be posting here. Be on the lookout for it. It is a deeper dive into dealing with imposter syndrome as a business owner with ADHD, and how I navigate it and versus what the experts are saying. So I'll be posting that here as soon as I get the opportunity. I think it's short enough to get on Facebook, to be honest with you. So hopefully it can go out on all these channels and you guys can get a look at it. So that's all I got. I really appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for tuning in for those that popped in. Thanks for tuning in for those that are going to watch after I get done. Hit me up with any marketing questions or media questions or social media questions or anything along those lines. And I'll try to answer them on the live stream. I appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for letting me kind of vent and get that out. I don't necessarily know if it feels better, but it was necessary. So I'll talk to y'all later. Be easy. Give me feedback on what you think about this camera versus my other cameras. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I feel like it's kind of a beefed up webcam, which is fine, but I'm almost leaning more towards my Sony. I think my Sony looks a little bit better than this one, but let me know what y'all think compared to my other live streams. So I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.